best messages I have read this year. Apostle John Selma said something. He said that the version of you, he said that thing you are praying for, you have been praying for, the version of you that will attract that thing, the version of you that qualifies for that thing may not have emerged. You have not created that version of you that deserves that thing. Maybe that is why you have not gotten what you want. When I heard that message, I sat down and I thought about it. And I was trying to I know it's deep, but I was trying to bring it to reality, make it practical for me to understand. And I was telling myself that imagine somebody has a business. Let's say you're into production, liquid production, and you have a business. Your capacity is just to produce 100 a month or 100 a week, 100 bottles. And now you are praying for breakthrough, for connection, for global connection, recognition, breakthrough, and all of that. And then from nowhere, you get that connection or recognition you've been praying for. You have an order for 5,000 bottles in a space of 3 weeks, 1 week. Now, 3 weeks, 1 week, or even 1 day. Now, remember your capacity so far is 100. So I was asking myself, that person will certainly not take that job. Because if you take that job, you are not going to be able to carry it. I was telling myself, I said, when I get here, I'm going to ask. Now, put yourself that you are this particular person praying for global breakthrough all the while, and your capacity is just 100, and now you are giving 5,000 to produce. I said you may not have the space, you may not have the resources to produce it, but if you have been able to collaborate with people, you belong to an association where when you have big order, you are able to meet, you are able to partner with people, you have been able to build resources, human resources, human capital, aside from your small progression of 100 weekly or daily. I said you are able to scale through. But if you have just been limited, you want your small circle, you produce 100, you are okay with that, you may not be able to meet that global. You have been praying for it. I want a breakthrough, I want a breakthrough. But at the end of the day, if that breakthrough comes like the way I just described it, and you are not prepared, you don't belong to a team, or rather an association where we all are doing these things. So when I have a big order, I am going to reach out to you to come and collaborate with me. You don't belong to that. I want to do my own alone. I don't want all these people, their own is too much. You don't belong to that circle. You have this limiting mindset. It simply means that if that 5,000 order comes, you will not be able to function. So when I heard Apostle Selman say that, he said, what you are praying for, what you have been praying for, he said that thing is also looking for you. The favor you have been looking for is looking for you. The difference why you have not attracted it is that you do not, the version of you that favor is meeting is not the version of you that favor is meant to reside in, that favor is meant to meet. It makes a lot of sense. What? And I told myself that the truth of the matter is, a lot of us, we are held captive by our trauma, by our baggages, by our mindset, where we are coming from. Now, just take what I just described. Like, very many people, they are on this table. You have something you are doing. Collaborate with people who are doing the same thing. It becomes a competition. Imagine you are praying for breakthrough. Collaboration, when you have that big break, you don't have the capacity. How are you going to deliver? If you are collaborating, you are going to be able to deliver. Even if you are doing 100, you join an association where everybody does 100. If you have 500 people, it simply means you are going to be able to meet 5,000 people, and you begin to build capacity from there. But because you are not collaborating, you are competing. If you have that capacity, if you have that breakthrough you are praying for, it will just go. This perfectly illustrates why a lot of us are stuck, why we are where we are, why we are not growing. We desire so much. We desire so much. We actually want to do a lot, but we do not have the capacity to attract that a lot. Today, I am talking to myself. I am not just talking to you alone. I am talking to myself. Unfortunately, I don't have my writing materials, and because I cannot teach and write at the same time. So what I want to do is, after this video, I'm going to sit back and go over it again from the beginning and take my notes, because today I am totally surrendering myself to God, to the Holy Spirit, to speak through me. Because make it make sense that we today, this month is all about talking about our childhood traumas. On learning and growing is this month, and today was scheduled for our own personal growth. Because if you're in the Visionary Parent Academy, you know that I always talk about, see, we all want our children to excel. We all want our children to grow. One of the things we need to do is we need to model growth to our children. I remember one time I asked the Visionary Parent Academy, I said, we always beat our children. Oh, in school, you come out, your position was third, fourth, fifth. We're asking them, what happened to you coming out first? The person that came out first, does the person have 10 heads? Is it not one head the person have like you have? Why did you not come out first? And I asked us in the Visionary Parent Academy, I said, whatever you are doing, your ministry, your area, if you are to sit, or someone is to compare you or rate you against people that are doing the same thing, your counterpart, what position will you be? Will you be first? If you are not first, then you don't have any justification to actually get angry at your child for not being first in class, for not being first in what they are doing, because even you are not first in what you are doing. I said that in the Visionary Parent Academy, and I said this is why we need to grow. This is why we need to develop. And today we're actually looking at 20 patterns, 20 mindsets, 20 behaviors, 20 habits that have rendered us stuck, that is limiting our growth as human beings. Because we need to grow to pass it on, to be able to model growth to our children. Now tell me, what kind of coincidence this is that after planning for this class, and a few minutes ago I went on Facebook and I saw Apostle Selma talking about the fact that a lot of us, what we are praying for, what we are looking for is also actually looking for us. However, that thing we are praying for has a certain standard. There is a version of us that need to emerge for that thing we are looking for that thing we are praying for to come to us and settle. So it is not just a coincidence, it is actually a divine mission. So if you are here today, please go and grab your writing materials, because I am convinced in my spirit that this is just a message for someone today. It's not a motivation. No, this is parenting with the Visionary Parent Academy. So it's not a motivation, it's reality. Because the entire month we've been talking about unlearning, healing, dropping our baggages, and doing better. You see, those mindsets that are limiting us, we've been talking about how we can actually unlearn those mindsets and do better. And coincidentally, Apostle Selma just gave me a go ahead and said, yes, this is the message for today. So please go and grab your writing materials and join us. Now, before we go into it, my name is Enimie Orebo, and I'm the lead coach at the Visionary Parents Academy. And this is brought to you by the Visionary Parents Academy. Every month, we take one topic that borders on parenting, and we learn, unlearn, we heal, we grow, we do everything, because we want to raise children that the world will be proud of. We want to raise children that the world, I always say, the world will bless us for, they will pray for us for. Children that will make themselves proud and make God proud and make the nations proud. That is what we're actually doing in the Visionary Parent Academy. That is our vision. So what we do is an academy that parents, you register, you join us for an entire year. It's not just the crumbs you get on social media. An entire year you join us, we learn, we unlearn, we challenge ourselves, we hold ourselves accountable every single day of the week. Every single day of the week. So every month we take one subject, one topic, and we treat it holistically. So we also come here every Tuesday. We're supposed to have this on Tuesday. That was yesterday. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it, and I apologize to the Visionary Parent. So we are doing it today. We are not going to miss it. So if you are not with us in the Visionary Parent Academy, please, you definitely need to join us. Just ask how you can join us. For this year, we are closed. But for next year, we are already opened, and you can join us. You can start registering now and join us for next year, January. You stay with us till December. It's an academy you need to be, definitely. So I was talking about growth for us. We are looking at 20 patterns that are sabotaging us. Again, we all want our children to excel. We all want them to grow. And one of the best ways for us to teach our children is modeling. So you want your children to grow. You want them to be the best at what they do. You want them to be global leaders, global citizens. In the little space you are, you need to teach them how to do that, because they are learning from us. They learn our what we call possible. They learn it. Our complaints, they absorb it. I shared this the other time I was here online. I said, shortly before I came online, I think a couple of days before then, my sister and I were talking about money, how we see money and a lot of things. And we realized that because it was not just coincidental, it was a pattern we learned from our mom. What we saw our mom do, we just learned it. We learned it. It is what it is. A lot of us, we are not just, except you have evolved, you have deliberately worked on yourself, you have unlearned and relearned, you are going to be stuck in the patterns of how you were raised, how you were nurtured. And when we talk about how you were raised, remember, it is not just your parents alone. Your entire environment contributed. Your school, your church, your home, everything contributed to the mindset you have today. Even the movies. I've talked about movies a great deal. Growing up, we watched a lot of movies that were very stereotypic, and a lot of us still function today with this stereotype. About last month or so, I shared a video. And one woman, a grandma, was telling her daughter that why she married the father, that's her husband, that it wasn't as if the husband was the best thing ever. She married the husband because men were scarce. And she explained in reality what she meant by men were scarce. She married during the Civil War. Now, very many men were recruited into the army to fight war. Of course, the Civil War between the Nigeria and the Biafra. So very many men fought war. So a few men were actually available on ground. So it was like survival of the fittest. Any man, you were even lucky to have a man come to you and say, oh, they like you or something like that. And that was it. That was where the mindset of men, because indeed, if you look at it, men were scarce because they were fighting wars. Unlike women that were staying back, they were not fighting war. So the mindset that, oh, men are scarce came from that era. Even till today, that we see have, at some point, I have quite a number of men around me who were looking for. I still have a man, a friend of mine, who is not married, looking for a wife to marry. So I always sit there and say, where did you ever get the mindset that men are scarce? We see women marrying in their 50s, in their 40s. We still keep saying men are scarce. So when a woman sees a man, even if the man is they don't have the same vision, they don't have the same goals, they are two opposite things that are supposed to repel. The woman forces herself on the man just because of the mindset that men are scarce. Meanwhile, men are scarce was actually a reality of during Civil War that is no longer in existence today. Because I know that, for example, men are not scarce. Men are not scarce because when I was ready to get married, when I was committed to my husband, I had suitors around me, very many of them. So if men are scarce, why was I not having suitors at that time? You see, this mindset, it is influencing how a lot of women still show up ready for marriage today. What am I trying to say? A lot of mindset we're raised with. A lot of traumas, baggages, wounds, and all of that we're raised with. They are sabotaging our ability, our capacity to grow till today. Not just from our parents, from our environment generally. Now, this is why one of the very first things for you to do as a human being who is intentional about their growth, as a human being who wants to grow, as a human being who wants to really grow, you want to sit down, because you cannot grow beyond your mindset. You cannot grow beyond the perception you have. You have to sit down and look at yourself. What are your limiting mindsets? It's not to sit down and argue. Now, in the Visionary Parents Academy, there's something we do. This entire month is for us to heal and unlearn. Now, one of the things we do is we have like a template we use. We are talking about patterns that sabotage us, where we learn the patterns from. One very interesting thing we have to it is that these patterns, they seem valid today. We look at it now because they seem valid, we take it and we believe in it. Yes, it is working. It's just like a parent who says, oh, do whatever you like to your child, I do whatever I like to my child. If it's working for you, fine. If it's working for me, don't tell me what to do. Why did that parent say it's working for them? They say it's working for them because maybe they beat their child stopped doing that particular thing they want the child to do, to stop. They think it's working for them. What they don't realize is that it is not really working. It is breathing something else that may even be worse than what they are trying to stop. But because it is they get that temporary satisfaction, they feel, oh, it's working. The same thing happens. Every single pattern we have in our lives, they bring a kind of temporary satisfaction, and we feel they are working. They are working. For example, someone that says, okay, I want to maybe go and drop my CV here. I want to go and drop my CV, and I don't look very qualified, but maybe I want to go and drop my CV. And the person now hears that that place you went to drop, that place you are thinking of going to drop your CV, somebody had been there, and because the person was not qualified, at the gate they turned the person back. The person will say, oh, thank God I did not even bother to go. No wonder I was hesitant. Why will you go when you are not qualified? Because that testimony, or is it testimony, I'll call it now, that evidence that someone else went there and was turned back is enough for you to say, okay, yes, thank God I didn't go. This is it. So we always have something like proof that kind of validates our limitation, our mindset. Something that will say, oh, yes. It's like a man. Earlier today, yesterday, I shared a post on Facebook. I said, some of us will say, oh, because I shared that post because it was inspired by a parent who reached out and was saying, oh, the son is slow, the son is slow. We got talking. I was asking questions, and I had to tell her, when I gave her some questions to answer, I asked her, do you think your child is slow or you are just impatient? There's a difference between your child being slow and you being impatient. From your explanation, your child is not slow. You are the one. You need to develop a little bit of more patience and not the other way around. So because we have been programmed to see, oh, the child is slow, you just think, oh, the child is slow. And maybe you have something you want your child to do. Your child is not able to meet up. You are not able to even sit back and ask yourself, am I impatient? Are my expectations realistic? You just say, oh, I said it. The child is slow. So there are things that will always kind of confirm our fears, that would justify this our mindset that is limiting us. So this is why, if you must grow as a parent, one of the very first things you must do, not even as a parent, as a human being, as an adult, one very first thing you must do is to go back to your limiting thoughts, your limiting beliefs. Someone reached me recently, someone close to me, in my family, extended family. He reached me recently. He's doing very well for himself. I reached me recently, was talking about how I was instrumental to his growth. I was like, okay, I don't remember giving you money. I don't remember paying your school fees, apart from maybe just a little, recharge card, someone you are older than, oh, auntie. So I don't remember playing a very vital role. And he said to me that something I said a long time ago actually gave him a lot of healing, a lot of strength. So what did I say? He said he graduated from school, he had an extension. So he was very bitter. He was very, depressed. That extension was breaking him down. So you remember he was talking to me about how people around him, people they went to school together, how many of them have gone for youth service. He was still being broken. Then I said to him that not be person when he first started the run, not being first they reach the goal post, the finish line. He said I did not understand because he just thought he was a failure. But when I said that to him, he said he went back and he was now looking at people around him who were not even doing as well as he was doing. He said that thing saved him. That thing made him realize that he had his life. He was running his own race. That thing made him stop comparing himself to people around him. Excuse me, you want to cut? Go and cut from me. It made him stop comparing himself to people around him. So what am I trying to say? That was a mindset that may have limited him. Everybody is making it. Everybody is doing well. So instead of him to get all into it, he will be limited by the thought that, he had already failed. Everybody was already doing well. At the end of the day, it is not because everybody was doing well that will drag him back. It's actually because he will not be limited in thought and not putting enough effort. Because instead of him to work on himself and instead of him to start from where he was, he will be comparing himself. Maybe he gets a job, he'll be looking at himself. If he wants to get something, he'll be looking at what is made hard. Our mindset from where we are coming from, they always limit us. And they limit us in ways that very many times we do not realize it. We do not realize it. Now, this is the reason why everyone as a human being, you must have someone you are accountable to. You have a community you are accountable to. You have a community you are accountable to. A community that holds you every day, that reminds you of where you are going to, where you are coming from, that shows you the reality. It is why we have a place like the Visionary Parents Academy. Because frankly, you cannot do life alone. You cannot do life all by yourself. Even when you are on an island, you are not an island. You need constant reminders. You need constant alarm to help you wake up. This is why, again, I want to talk to you about the Visionary Parents Academy. It's an academy you need to come and join. We meet every single day. Even if it's 5 minutes, you just dash in, see what is going on. You will learn one thing that will fill you up for the day. Okay, so I think I've spent a lot of time giving the introduction. So we are going to go into 20 things. I have 20 of them here. So what I am going to do is, if you are not able to exhaust the 20, what you need to do is just send me a message and say, I was live with you. Can I get the material you taught from? And I will share the material I taught from, and I will give it to you. The first thing we want to look at, actually not the first thing I wanted to look at because I feel, this may sound cliche. We hear it every time. But the truth of the matter is, we hear it every time and it is still sabotaging a lot of us. Without even attempting, we think, without even attempting, we fear rejection. We fear failing without attempting. The first one is fear of failure. I was going to remove this and I say everybody hears it every day. So what is the big deal? We hear it every day. It's still limiting us. A couple of years ago, my husband's niece studied agricultural extension, agricultural science in university. So my husband had someone who wanted someone who studied agriculture to help manage a farm, or just, I don't know if it's a farm now, to help someone who studied agriculture for employment. So I told my husband, your niece just graduated. She doesn't have a result yet. She doesn't have a certificate yet. Just tell her about it. My husband said, no, why should I? The person wants someone who has graduated, but my niece has not yet. She has graduated, but she has not gone for service. She has not even had a certificate yet. So she's not qualified. I said, why don't you just tell her? Agriculture is something practical. The certificate will not do the work. When she gets there, she already has the knowledge in her head. So when she gets there, let her even go. Let her go there. You can tell the person, this is it. Let her go there. When she gets there, she'll tell the person, I graduated from University of Benin. What I studied and everything. I don't have the certificate yet because I have not been given. I have not done my youth service, obviously. I can redeploy to Benin City, or I don't know this. I don't remember the state the employment was. I can redeploy to this state for my youth service. After all, that is what it's easy these days because of insecurity and everything. When my result comes out, let me even work, see what I can do, because agriculture is practical. It is what is typical with us. Because I remember, I don't know if it's a Tony Elomelu. I remember one of these bank CEOs. I read about him a long time ago. They said The first job he got with the bank, he made a third class. And when they were advertising for the job, when the job posting, he was not qualified. However, he went for the interview and he told them that it is not about my papers. Just give me a trial. Give me a couple of months. If I don't deliver, then I don't deliver. That was how they hired him, and he delivered. He was retained. From there, he built his wealth that I don't remember the name. I tried googling it one time. Someone just shared it on social media, so I tried verifying it on Google. I didn't really get much information on it, so that is why I don't have the person's name. So you know that fear that many people business, they have business ideas, but the first thing is if I invest 50 million in this thing, what if I fail? What if it doesn't go through? What if it doesn't go through? A lot of people, we are held back, fear of failure. What if I go there, I don't succeed? What if I go there, I'm not qualified? What if I go there? Even in relationship. I remember one time I was talking to a group of ladies, and one of them, she had a suitor. She was supposed to go and meet the person's. It's been a long time. She was supposed to go and meet the boy's parent, family member, and she said something that I don't ever forget. She said, what if I go there, they don't like me? What if I go there, the mom doesn't like me, the siblings don't like me? Yes, please. Sorry.
They said your bathroom needs to be checked.
They can come. You just let me close my bathroom door. Sorry, I didn't hold this class yesterday because I have work going on in my house, and I didn't want to not hold the class again today. Well done, sir. I didn't want to not hold the class again today because we didn't hold it yesterday, so I wanted to hold it today at all costs. So please, if you hear noise, just help me manage it. Okay, so I was saying that. So I asked her, why does it have to be what if they don't like you? Why is it not what if you don't like them? It should be if you don't like them. Why is it what if I go there, his mom doesn't like me? I mean, have you seen yourself? And she was a very beautiful girl. She has education. She was hardworking and all of that. She still had that fear of what if they don't like me? That's the closet. Okay, this is the door. You didn't tell them? They are going to the bathroom. That's my closet. Sorry. Doors in the room. Okay. So why is it what if they don't, why is it if they don't, why does it have to be they don't like you? What if you don't like them? That is the mindset. So because of that, what if they don't like me? She will settle for anything. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of that fear. When we talk about these childhood traumas, baggage and all of that, we just have like fear of failure. We think it just stops at fear of failure. It's not just about not failing. If somebody says fear of failure, you will think, I don't have any fear. I don't have any fear. Like I was telling my teenagers in church one day, I said, a lot of you can't give a no. One of them said, me can't give a no. Lie. I give a no. I don't give a hoot. Me. I started giving her examples of how they don't give a no. And they were like, but it's not like, that is it. A lot of these things will sabotage you because of fear. Let's look at where does fear of failure, or rather, where did it come from? Because who we are today, I've shared this example before. I remember saying that if you have two children, two twins, identical twins or even fraternal twins born by the same parents, the same families, if you take this set of twins and you take them to two different environments to raise them, they are going to turn out two different human beings, different mindsets, because where they are will greatly influence their mindsets. Now, this is why I always tell parents to look at your environment. When parents talk, especially when they are teenagers, I remember my parents reached out to me one time. I was talking about, the son steals. One of the things I asked her was, what does he do with the money? She said she doesn't even know. That's the thing. He steals. I said, okay, let's look at why teenagers steal. Let's look at it. Let's look at gambling. Drugs, they steal to buy drugs. They steal to fund a certain lifestyle to give their girlfriends. They steal to fund a certain lifestyle. They steal, maybe they belong to gang to pay their dues or all of that. They still, we looked at all of that, and none of it was adding up for her until I said, okay, let's look at betting. And she said, yes, the son bets. And she asked him, he said he bets, just bet like that. And it was the environment that influenced it, because the mom doesn't bet, the husband doesn't bet. Where did he learn betting from? From the environment. They have betting, is it betting station they call it, after their house. The next property outside of it has a betting station there. So the boy goes out every day, sees them, they're talking about, oh, I nearly won, oh, I won. That was it. And he got interested in it to the extent that he started stealing money, reasonable amounts of money. Oh, money not just in hundreds of thousands. Oh, money that was going into millions for betting. So the environment, everything comes together, not just your parents at home. When we are talking about parenting yourself, many people will say, oh, my parents were not abusive, they were this, so I don't expect to have childhood trauma. It is not just about your parents. It is actually about the entire environment where you were raised. So those two human beings raised in different environment, they are going to have different mindsets, come out different. They may even have the same temperament, but they are going to express their innate traits differently. They are going to express their innate traits differently based on the environment they grew up in. If you are a Christian, I always like to use Apostle Paul. When Apostle Paul grew up in an environment where they persecuted Christians, he was fire, strong, stubborn person. You saw how he used that trait. When he became a born again, you also saw how he used that trait. You see, different environments, but the quality he had, let's say bold, confident, fearless, strong conviction, the qualities were the same, but he used them differently. So you may have two people who have the same innate qualities, but once they are raised in two different environments, they are going to express those qualities differently. It is why you see someone who is say, I'm an activist, I'm going to, whatever is right, I'm going to stand for what is right, no matter what they say, no matter what they do. Stubborn, pig-headed, all out. Another person will have that kind trait, this same trait, the person will now use that trait for negativity, stubbornness, the same thing. So the first one I'm talking about is fear of failure. We don't want to fail. How did we learn it? We learn it by being laughed at when we made a mistake, when we made mistakes when we were small. Laughed at by our parents, by our classmates, by everyone. Be punished for failing. You fail? You were being punished for it. If you were being punished for failing, it simply means that you may have grown up being afraid of failure. Growing up and believing mistakes are bad. One of the things I always say to parents is this. We always tell children that, oh, mistakes are a part of life. You learn from your mistakes. But when they make mistakes, we magnify it. We don't give them breathing space. The same, we are telling them that mistakes are good. They are a way for us to learn. At the end of the day, it's not always about what you say. It is also about what you do. So at the end of the day, you are teaching them. At the end of the day, they are not just learning from what you are saying. You're also nurturing them by letting them see mistakes as actually bad. Now, like I said, these things just don't come from our parents alone. From every environment, how we were raised, people around us, our older siblings, they were part of people that shaped us. Earlier today, I was telling someone that one of the reasons why when you have children, your first child, do what you can to make sure that they get it right. You get it right with them, because your first child is also a role model to the younger ones. Your first child is also a role model to the younger ones. They are learning, especially if the age difference is much. Even if the age difference is not much, your first child is also a role model, because naturally they are siblings. They are together, so they are always learning from each other. So whatever you can do well to make sure your first child is doing well, is getting it right. So the first one is fear of failure. We learned it by being laughed at. When we made mistakes, we were laughed at. So we realize, oh, mistake makes them laugh at me. And no one likes to be laughed at. Let me tell you something I've said here emphatically, that, see, All these traumas we have, the baggages we grew up with, they were survivor skills for us as a child. For example, you know that when you made a mistake, you were laughed at, and you did not want to be laughed at. So what did you do? You started making sure that you didn't make mistake. You were being careful not to make mistake. You were not just being careful not to make mistake. You were not afraid to try so that you will not make mistake and be laughed at, because you did not like being laughed at. So you adopted not doing at all to survive the chances of making mistakes. You were punished for failing. Because of that, when you failed, you cancelled your scripts. You cancelled, like Ben Carson. He shared something about his class when he was growing up. When the teacher gave them an assignment, they did the assignment and he got a 0. So when the teacher asked him, he decided to just say it, mutter it, so that the teacher would think, oh, he did well. He said, none. The teacher had none as 9. So the teacher was praising him. So why did he do that? Because he did not want to be laughed at. So because he didn't want to be laughed at, he was strategizing ways for him not to be laughed at, to survive it. So these things we came up with as children, they were strategies to survive what was being done to us. We're laughed at for making mistakes. We're punished for failing. So we had to strategize, not even trying at all, dodging responsibility because we didn't want to be laughed at. And guess what? We now grew up with them because we have learned them from when we were small. We grew up with them. So how does it show up daily? It shows up we don't try new things. When you see something, instead of you to try, you just have the fear that, what if I try? I don't get it right. I'll be laughed at. That thought that you'll be laughed at as a child is still lingering on in your head. So you don't want to try so that you are not laughed at. Remember, you did it to survive being laughed at. But you have not unlearned it. Because you have not unlearned it, it's still a part of you. You avoid difficult tasks. When the task seems difficult, you don't want to do it. So you see people, before they even try, they see it. You hear people say, this thing looks so hard though. I don't even want to go there and fool myself. I don't want to make a fool of myself. You don't even want to try at all. Because if you ask people, now, do you have fear of failure? They are going to say, me, fear failure. For what? I don't have fear of failure. But yet, you don't want to try something new. Deep down within you, you think you don't fear failure, but you don't want to try something new. What does that mean? You don't want to leave your comfort zone. What does that mean? You avoid difficult tasks. Want to see his tasks? No. A lot of us, we are complacent. We are not. I was talking to someone recently, one of my teenagers. So he's into fashion designing and all of that. I was talking to him. I was like, I do ready to wear, I do casuals and all of that. I was telling him, okay, ready to wear for men is okay. So why don't you start doing customize? He said, customize. Why does he not want to do customize? Because he has this fear. What if I do customize and the people come and start harassing me? What if I'm not able to do it well? Everybody, you say ready to wear, you just do it and anybody comes, they buy what they see there. It's less of a trouble than doing customize. Because customize, you have to take the shape, you have to do this, you have to do that, and sometimes you have adjustments and here and there. And this person will say, I don't fear failure. You don't fear failure, but you don't want to take risk. You don't fear failure, you don't want to try new things. You don't fear failure when it's difficult task, you don't want to do it. You fear failure. If you have these things holding you back, you definitely fear failure. Before you even start, when it becomes tough, you want to give up already. You want to give up when it's tough. You obviously fear failure. So let's go. How does this sabotage us in adulthood? Now remember, we learned them in childhood to avoid being mocked, to avoid being punished. So we learned all these things. Because of that, today we are sabotaged. How does this sabotage us? We miss opportunities. When we have opportunities to grow, because of that fear of failure, we don't take it. How does this sabotage us? It slows our personal growth. A lot of us, we become overthinkers. We want to put everything perfect. We want to make sure we can. We want people to validate us, people to tell us we can before we eventually take the bull by the horn. At the end of the day, our personal growth is slow. How does it sabotage us? We live below our potentials because we can actually do a lot. We can actually do much more than we can do. When you research about human capacity, human brain, you will realize that we can do so much. We don't realize it. And why don't we realize it? Because we fear that we are going to fail. So we are not utilizing the best of our capacity. We just remain complacent. And like I always say, because at the end of the day, we just feel, oh, there are things that are actually validating where we are. And we don't fear failure. We fear failure. So the number one is fear of failure. Now, here is what you want to do. I don't want us to stop at sabotaging. We want to sit down and evaluate ourselves. So if you still think, oh, I don't have fear of failure, here are 5 questions for you to answer. Now, if rate yourself in these questions, rate yourself from number 1 to number 5. Number 1, how well do you score 1 to 5? I'll tell you how to interpret your scores at the end of this self-evaluation exercise. Number 1, do I avoid things because I might fail at them? Do you? Ask yourself. This one is nobody is judging you. Nobody is going to flog you. Nobody is doing anything to you. It is just you because you want to grow. You want to look at yourself in the mirror. You want to be realistic. Nobody is judging you. So ask yourself, do I avoid things because I fear that I might fail? Do I avoid things because I fear that I might fail? Number 1. Number 2, do I get upset when I make mistakes? When you make a mistake, you are upset. Oh, I should have known better. Oh, stupid me. Oh, do you get upset when you make mistakes? Number 3, do you quit when things become hard? When things become difficult? I beg, I cannot go and come and kill myself and die. Is that your slogan? Is that your mantra? When things become difficult, you just keep it. Do you worry too much about what if it doesn't work? A lot of parents, a lot of us, we worry so much that we have passed the worry to our children. I would not say a lot of you, because I'm working on myself. I am growing, so I'm no longer part of a lot of us. A lot of you worry too much because you pass this worry to your children. To your children, before they even start, they are worried, they are afraid, because you pass worry to your children. And you want them to grow. You want them to excel. How is that even possible? Do you often play safe? You want the safest zone. You want to be safe all the time. If you often play safe, then you are afraid of failure. Now, in all these the 5 areas I've asked you, the 5 points I've given you to evaluate yourself, score yourself. How do you fare from number 1 to number 5 rather? I always say that on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being positive and terrific, great, and 1 being terrible, score yourself. Now, if your score is between 5 and 10, it is low. You have fear of failure. If your score is between 11 and 17, moderate. You moderately fear failure. If your score is between 18 to 25, it is high. So let me tell you the truth you need to hear. Failure is not the opposite of success. So failure is a part of success. Truth, get that. Failure is, what I say to my children, that you have not failed until you quit. Quitting is failure. It is the truth. It is not motivation. It is the reality. When we talk about the father of resilience, we always talk about Thomas Edison. And we say Thomas Edison tried 1,000 times. Some research have it at 10 times, some say 100 times, some say 1,000 times, some say 10,000 times. At least there are zeros in the number of times he tried, and 1. That is what is important. And it simply means that he tried very many times, multiple times, before he succeeded. Today, if he had tried, he had not succeeded, it would have been, oh, he failed at it if he had tried. But why did he succeed? He succeeded because he did not stop, he did not quit, he did not give up. That was why he succeeded. So what does that tell you? There is no such thing as failure until you quit. You don't get it right. It simply means, I read somewhere that he was interviewed, that why did he was interviewed, and he said each time he did not get it right, he knew one way not to have done it. He learned something, and that is the truth. Not getting it right has taught you, oh, this is not the right way to do it. Let me try another way. My daughter she likes to bake, fry. She likes baking, frying, baking, and all of that. So the other day she made donut. It didn't come out as donut. And she was saying, Mommy, I think it is because my yeast she tried to explain to me why her donut did not come out well. Because her donut came out hard and her donut did not rise. You know, it's supposed the donut did not rise. So when she went to check her dough, it did not rise. So she was like, okay, maybe she didn't cover it well, maybe the yeast or something, it was not in the room temperature, like recommended by the coach and all of that. So she has learned now that a particular thing, when you have a set of instructions, sometimes you think it doesn't matter. These instructions are just there for fancy. You know, it doesn't matter. So you can just choose to wing it. So she had now learned that in making pastries or in baking, you may not always need to wing it. You may have to follow instructions, because every instruction may be important to the completion of your project. She has learned that. So it is what it is. When you do something, you don't get it right, you will sit down, you have learned that, okay, this particular thing doesn't make it right. You have not failed at it. You have not failed at it. So now this is the mindset you want to run with. Fear of failure. If I try, I don't get it. I have learned a lesson why I did not get it. Why I did not get it. I always tell my children that this is the truth of the matter. If you try, you don't get it, nothing happens to you. Maybe it's just, if you invest resources, maybe that is just the resource that will. And that resource has taught you a lesson, because you definitely need to pay. Lessons are not free. How do you now drop this mindset of fear of failure? Let's go there. Number one is try one thing every week. Decide, this week I'm going to try this new thing. Something that I've been pushing forward. Something I've not had the confidence to do. I've not had the courage to do. Try it. Number two, begin to see mistakes as lessons. How do you do this? Deliberately learn lessons from your mistakes. Whatever mistake you have made, deliberately look for, what is the lesson in this mistake? Just don't learn and move away. Don't learn. After learning, you just move away. No. Deliberately ask yourself, what is the lesson in this mistake? Every mistake has a lesson. Take the lesson from that mistake and build with it. Number three, celebrate effort, not just results. My daughter was telling me, Mommy, it's not like I like a lot of snacks, so it's just that I like the processes. The processes of baking, of frying, anything. Talk about anything kind of snack. She sees it, she's fascinated, she wants to do it. I just enjoy the processes. It's therapeutic for me. So she can just sit down for the past 3 weeks now, no TV for them. So what she does most of the time is, can I fry this? Can I try my hands on this? Time she feel her time. So what I celebrate is not about the finished work, it's about the process. Your children are learning from the process. The processes of achieving that, of finishing that work, they are learning from it. Number two, learn from successes. Learn from successful people's failures. I always say, I've said it before, that my favorite books to read are autobiographies or even biographies. They are my favorite books to read, because they're actually sharing people's real life experiences. And I was in the Visionary Parent Academy, I was saying it recently. I said, I wish it was made compulsory for every human being on the surface of this world to write their own story. You can't pass through this life without writing your story. I say if it was possible, we will realize that people we admire today, people who have made it today, will see where they have been, their journey. We will know that, so when you tell someone that success is hard work, they will actually know that it's hard work. When you tell someone that success is a lot of resilience, they will know that, it's a lot of resilience. I wish everyone can. So one of the things you want to do is to learn from successful people. Learn from them. Podcasts are there to watch. Thank God for social media. Follow people who share their stories, genuine story, who are unfiltered. They're the kind of people I follow, unfiltered. People who share real life stories. See books, read books, watch movies that actually teach real life lessons. Follow successful people. Stop expecting perfection. Stop expecting perfection. Give yourself opportunity to. You are not perfect. You cannot be perfect. Perfection is an illusion. Nobody can be perfect in this world. You are not God. So how can you be perfect? Keep trying after one mistakes. Build your resilience. Don't give up. One of the ways to build your resilience is to have a community. Is there something you are pursuing as a human being, their project or something you are pursuing? Have an accountability group, an accountability community. Someone you can say, I tried this thing today, I didn't get it right. And the person will tell you, okay, so what's your next plan? You're not going to sit down wallowing, I didn't get it right. You're not going to sit down and cry. So what's your next plan? What do you want to do about it now? And you will say, I want to, they tell you, not I want to, get to it. Have an accountability community. In the Visionary Parent Academy, come and join us for your parenting accountability community. Let's be accountable. Let's raise children who will make the world proud, who will make us proud. Children who tomorrow will make God proud. Not tomorrow, someone will say, who raised you? Who is your mother? Who is your father? Who raised you? You are a disappointment to humanity. Not that kind of children. Come and join us. Drop in the comment section. Someone says, I am a warrior. No. When we worry, we pass it on to our children. And like I always say, we may get away with it. Our children may not get away with it. Now, this is something I want us to know as parents. You may get away with that thing you are doing. You know why? Because you are playing small. So you will get away with it. If your child is going to play global, they may not get away with it. That thing that is limiting you may limit them on the global platform. You may not get away with it. So please, anything we are doing, we need to unlearn it. It is not our fault. A lot of us, everyone was born with certain traits. And the way we were raised, we either magnify it. I met someone today. I thought he was 22. He looks young and frail, but he's 26. He has a beautiful fashion home. He sews beautifully well. So I was looking at him. I was talking about how some children, how some children are naturally laid back. I said, yes, he was a kind of child that was a bit laid back. His parents noticed on time, and they literally set fire on his bookstores. He has graduated from university. He has his own fashion home now. Yes, please. Come in. Okay. He has his own fashion home now. Because he was just casual and all of that. So I was saying that, see, as a human being, as a child, as a parent, if you have a child who is naturally laid back, and you now indulge them in their laying backness, they may now grow up being super laid back. Now, this is why you must do what you must do. First of all, and what you must do is to understand yourself, because we tend to pass our temperament to our children. If you are someone who worries a lot, it may be that you have that temperament in you and your environment amplified it for you. And then you are now also amplifying it for your children by not unlearning and healing. And guess what? The fact that you got away with it does not mean your child will get away with it. It's one thing I always say, and I want to re-emphasize it today. Excuse me, I want to quickly close my door. you will break that place.
Mine is new that was not come outside.
Alright.
So I thought we enter that place.
Sorry. I want to just close this door. Close that.
Wait, no. Wait, no. I mean, it's the opposite. It's good to be.
Just let me close it.
If I don't do the truth, I'll close it.
Okay. Sorry about that. Bimbo Ademoye will say, sorry about that. How does she do it? Sorry about that. Okay, so I said the fact that we get away with things does not mean our children will get away with things. I always want to use this particular example to buttress these points. You know, when you have parents living in domestic violence, parents, okay, you have an abusive spouse. The man is abusive or the woman is abusive. Because the other one is patient or tolerant, or because the other one just believes that, okay, men are scarce, she or he may stay in the marriage, or the woman may stay in the marriage. And if the woman believes that I can't get another wife, he stays in the marriage, or whatever mindset, he stays in the marriage. The marriage is abusive, it's toxic. We have seen that now. We have seen people who stayed in toxic marriage all their life. They grew old together in toxicity. They grew old together. But it doesn't mean their children they got away with it. Their children may not get away with it. Those same people that lived in toxicity together, they will now raise children who have seen them, who now think, oh, marriage is meant to be toxic. They now go into the marriage with another person. Another person who believes that, no, my marriage, if you do me bad, I do you both. What happens when there is domestic violence in that marriage? You as a parent that modeled it to your children, you got away with it. But your children that learned it from you, they may not get away with it. Now, this is why as a parent, we must sit back and learn better and do better. Okay. Keep trying after mistakes. I've talked about that. Number 7 is ask, what can I learn? Every situation is a lesson for you as a parent. As we teach this to our children, one of the things I tell my children is, so what's the lesson here? What's the lesson here? Sometimes when they come to tell me things, after telling me the things, they just tell me, the lesson here is. That's because we are used to what is the lesson here. So they know that it is expected that after every situation, they're supposed to have 1 or 2 lessons to learn. So they come to say, oh, the lesson here is. So as a parent, you must also learn. This is the lesson. So I am going to try again, noting my lesson. Unfortunately, number one has taken up to almost 1 hour. Number 2 is the perfectionist. Where does it come from? Being criticized often. Feeling pressured to be the best. Fear of making mistakes. When I wrote the book, Understanding Your Child, I said something. You see, we have sanguine children who are, how do I call them? They are bubbling children. We think, oh, they should be naturally confident because of their nature, because they are kind of bubbling, happy children. They are naturally, should I use the resilience? Resilient in the sense that they give up easily. They are not how do I put it now? They are not persistent, but they are resilient. Persistent is you keeping to what you are doing, not giving up despite the challenges, the obstacles. While resilience is your ability to bounce out of situation without letting it bring you down. So they are resilient because they don't store hurt in them. So it's easy for them to just bounce away. So one would expect that they should be confident and all of that. But what happens? They're not confident because naturally they are all over the place. They're always jumping about, making mistakes, and they are constantly being corrected. Because they are constantly being corrected, at the end of the day, you realize that their mind begins to grow with a mindset that I don't do things well, I don't do things right, because they are constantly being corrected. Perfectionist. So what do you want to do? Okay, how does this show up? Endless planning. You plan. Let me take this course. Let me do this thing. Let me do this one. Endless planning. Constant editing. You are always editing your life. You always check yourself. Oh, this thing. You always, and you know what? You compare yourself. You always compare yourself. You want to edit your life. It's tiring. How does it show up? Delay in actions. You want to take action, but you delay so much because the perfect time is not here. How does it sabotage you in adulthood? Number one, your project stays unfinished. You have a lot of projects you have not done. You have a lot of ideas. No one, everything is on the pipeline or in the pipeline because you are waiting for them to be perfect. Perfect time, perfect opportunity, perfect people. Opportunities will pass you by. A lot of us, opportunities have passed us by because we are waiting for perfect time. Like I was talking about my husband, the perfect CV. She has to graduate and she has to bring her certificate. She has to have gone for NYC. Perfect. Why don't just try? Try and get a no. It's not going to cost anything. It's not costing anything. You know, growth becomes slow. When we are supposed to grow, we are not able to grow because we are waiting for the perfect opportunity. Now, here is again another exercise for you to evaluate yourself as a parent, as a person, to know if you are a perfectionist. One, do you wait for the perfect time? You keep giving excuses up and down. Because somebody will say, no, I don't wait for the perfect time. Oh. But when you're always giving excuses, you have a reason, and your reasons may seem valid. That is what I was saying. These reasons always seem valid because there is something that comes to something that comes to confirm it for us. So they seem valid. Do you wait for the perfect time? Do you spend too long preparing? You want to do something now. You are preparing for too long a time. Do you fear making mistakes? I want to wrap up now because I think the noise here is becoming more. I thought the noise would just be small. Do you wait? Do you fear making mistakes? Do you delay in starting projects? Do you struggle to finish things? These are signs that you are a perfectionist. So now here is what you want to do. You want to send a message and tell me that, please, you need this material I taught from. I'll give it to you. You are not paying anything. It's free. I'll give it to you. And with this material, you can go through other 19 or 18 patterns that are sabotaging your growth. You go through them and you begin to take action. Now, remember, this material is not just providing you the patterns. This material is also providing you, telling you how it shows up in you every day. It's also helping you evaluate yourself. And at the end of the day, this material is also teaching you how to drop it already. Practical exercise and all of that. Thank you for joining me today. Unfortunately, we cannot go on because of the work going on in my house. See you next week, Tuesday. Bye-bye.